Real quick before this video starts, I just want to say that we're doing something a little different for this video. This is going to be a completely uncut reaction, okay? Well, mostly uncut. There's a couple of little edits in there. I chopped up, obviously, the bits that are just me talking after some of the songs. But for the most part, this is an uncut reaction, as you can probably tell by the runtime of this video being coming up on 2 hours. Yeah, I just thought that, you know, after listening to the album, the reaction is very different to what I typically do. There's a lot of just unpaused listening. I don't really pause. I think I paused like 5 or 6 times at most throughout this. So I thought it would maybe be the best option to kind of just let the video flow as it did on the stream and kind of let the songs transition into each other, play them out in almost their entirety, and just kind of allow you to see the entire like process of me digesting these tracks in real time. Also, there was a bit of buzz in my mic a little bit during this video. This was my first time filming a reaction with my new mic here, which obviously this mic sounds a lot better than my other mic, but I obviously didn't have the settings fully figured out yet, so there was a little bit of buzz throughout this. You can probably hear it at points where it's just me talking, so excuse that. But yeah, besides that, enjoy the reaction. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing The Wall today. Yeah, this is an absolute iconic, beloved classic, one of the most ambitious concept albums of all time, according to everybody who's heard it. But also according to everybody who's heard it, it's the most overrated album of all time, okay? I have never seen so many people hate an album that is as beloved as this. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's either The Wall is the best album of all time or it's like the worst Pink Floyd album. I never see any in between, so I'm going into this honestly with high expectations. I love everything I've heard, well, almost everything I've heard from Pink Floyd up to this point. Not as crazy on Piper at the Gates of Dawn, but then, of course, they have Dark Side of the Moon, which I think is incredible. They have Wish You Were Here, which I think is near perfect, and Animals, which is just perfect for me. So, you know, I'm going into this one knowing it's like the end of the golden era of Pink Floyd, knowing it's their most ambitious work, and I'm going in with fairly high expectations. Sounds not as well received as I remember. A 4 user score does seem quite low, but, you know, it is what it is. 42 minutes as well. I thought this was a double album. No, I'm joking. This album came out in 1979. It's 26 songs, an hour and a half. It's a long album, and I've still not decided if I'm going to make this a 2-part video or not, because, oh my god, this is going to be a pain in the ass to edit. But you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. This is a widely beloved album. 85 user score, only 76 critic score, which is surprisingly low for a Pink Floyd album, especially in their golden era. But yeah, 85 user score. It's a beloved album, not the highest rated Pink Floyd album by any stretch of the imagination. You know, you got Animals, Wish You Were Here, and Dark Side all cruising above a 90. So realistically, The Wall is kind of dog shit by comparison. Look, every single bit of like confirmation that I'm gonna like this, I've gotten. I mean, most, like, sources that, like, where my opinion tends to align with theirs, where we have similar tastes, they all love the fuck out of this album. It's pretty safe to assume that I'm going to like this album. The Downward Spiral copied the album structure of this, and the Downward Spiral is one of my favorite albums of all time, so surely I must think this shit is gas as well. I'm kind of worried getting into this. This is such a huge undertaking of an album. This is such a gargantuan project. I'm kind of worried getting into it that it's not gonna be that good. What if it's not? Like, I have faith that I'm gonna like it, but there's that little thing in the back of my head that's like, what if this album's not good? And it's like an hour and a half of me shitting on it, and then I get cancelled again. Scary shit. It's scary shit. Anyway, there's only one way to find out if this album is actually dog shit, and that's by getting into the thing. Track 1, In the Flesh. Got to take it off shuffle. There we go. It's so... I'm about to say it's so damn quiet. Starting off with some big grand keys. Epic guitars. Maybe. War and mental illness based album and political. They're getting red pilled on this one. This is very quiet. Is this just the version I'm listening to? This shit is so quiet. This is the Horrid remaster from 2011. This shit is so quiet. Is there a different version of this fucking album that I can listen to? Oh my god, why is it so fucking quiet? This is the only one. We gotta listen to the quiet version. I'll turn it up a bit on your guys' end. Why the fuck is it so quiet?
You sunshine, is this not what you expected to see? If you wanna find out what's behind these cold eyes, you'll just have to claw your way through the
YouTube. I ain't listening to a YouTube version. That'll be even worse quality. Yeah, we're gonna have Genius up for this one so I can follow along with the story. Good transition. Okay, In the Flesh is a hell of an opener. It's theatric, it's grand, it's over the top, but it's also surprisingly, like, restrained. This track, it really does create a very spacey atmosphere, and I think that allows for the opener to this story to kind of fill in the blanks in terms of how spacey this mix is. Let me look through these lyrics here and see what this song is about. All right, we'll just look at this annotation. In the Flesh introduces the story of Pink, a rock star. It begins with the opening of a rock concert. The lyrics inform us that despite his outward appearances, things are much different behind the cold eyes, and that if the listener wants to know what's going on with Pink, they'll have to claw your way through this disguise. Okay. So this is just going to be us getting to know this character, I suppose. The song also subtly indicates that Pink's father is killed in a war, with the sound effect of a dive bomber, of course. We hear a baby crying, indicating that Pink and his mother are left without a father and a husband, respectively. This is expanded upon. Okay, whatever. This is a strong opener. It is a genuinely strong opener. I think that sonically, the space that this track creates is pretty fantastic. I think that the vocals being as theatric as they are definitely gives this like a movie-like quality. Definitely does feel like an open, like establishing shot of like this war zone, given a little bit of like, I don't know, backwards context of like some shit that happens like way before the story. I think this song does its job actually pretty fantastically. It's a high 8 for me. Actually, you know what? No, we're not doing scores today. I said I wasn't going to do scores for the wall. We're not going to do scores. We're not doing scores for the songs on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. Up next we have The Thin Ice. Exactly. mind, Fuzz. We're loving 6/8 so far. Last track and this song both in 6/8.
If you should go skating on the thin ice of modern life, dragging behind you the silent reproach of a million tear-stained eyes.
Kind of a Bowie-like quality to the vocals here.
Surprised when a crack in the ice appears under your feet. You slip out of your depth and out of your mind, with your fear flowing out behind you as you claw the ice.
Yeah, it's definitely some sort of messing with the vocals there. I can't quite tell what it is. We got 5 years exactly. The solo wing's pretty great. Guitars sound fucking incredible. Thin Ice is pretty fantastic, a great follow-up, but we're just gonna let this shit flow. Another Brick in the Wall Part 1.
Dad is flown across the ocean, leaving just a memory.
I've never actually heard this song before.
The snapshot
I've only heard Another Brick in the Wall Part 2.
family album.
The Korn cover of this is really good. Yeah.
Daddy, what else did you leave for me? Daddy, what you leave behind for me?
It's effectively dramatic.
All in all it was just a brick in the wall.
That is the bit I recognize.
All in all it was all just bricks in the wall.
Are they using delay effects there, or is that just... Sounds like delay effects. Yeah, it definitely is. Sound great. It's a nice way of building a lot of tension here. Makes us feel kind of eerie. I see. Okay, so a brick in the wall it is meant to be like the wall he is building between himself and society around him, which is interesting. So following like the death of his father in World War II, he just wants to separate himself from the pain of the world and fitting in with the rest of people. So each event is a new brick in the wall. I see. I always wondered what like another brick in the wall meant. I always assumed it was meant to like represent like the working class. Every new person is just another brick in an ever-growing wall that's being built. But it's meant to represent more, yeah, like complete isolation. That's interesting. It could also mean that, yeah. That's what I got from like Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Yeah, Another Brick in the Wall Part 1 is a great like introduction to what is this 3-part piece here that we're apparently going to get. Effectively eerie, the delay effects sound fantastic. Good shit. Lyrically, does a great job at like properly setting us into the concept as well. actually Scottish, not British, actually. Actually... Nah, Zary, I'm going to do a tier list video. When I've heard all that stuff. The vocals are a little silly here. This instrumental's fantastic, but the vocals are a little goofy here. And that's... You'll see in a minute, that's the case with Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 for me as well. But this instrumental is fucking incredible. A really nice bridge between the two parts. That transition is fantastic as well. This is one of like 2 songs that I've already heard on this album. Everyone's already fucking heard this song. It's so funky but so sinister at the same time. It's able to balance the two so well. So we're getting vocals from Roger Waters and David Gilmour on this track. Yeah, perfect protest music, absolutely. We don't need no fiend in the classroom. Jesus Christ. Which band member is singing this part? I believe this was Richard Wright on this part. Yeah, it's interesting to get a disco-influenced song on this album. It's such a strange choice to have a track that is so overtly upbeat, but also easily the strangest and kind of most creepy moment on the album up to this point. It's a fascinating choice. How is this dated? I think this sounds fantastic to this day. This production's lovely. It's a little quiet, but I think the actual mixing of all of these elements sounds fantastic. The disco elements have aged beautifully. These guitar tones are fucking gorgeous. The drum sound, that's the big thing that dates something, is how do the drums sound. These drums sound fucking amazing. Waters is a better singer in terms of expression than David Gilmour? I prefer David Gilmour as a singer. Alright, we're going to have to do our first pause here after that 3-track run there of tracks that flow into each other. This album started off pretty great. Genuinely, I think that this is really doing a great job of setting me into this concept. This is just immediately so gripping. Firstly, they just have an interesting concept to begin with, having this kid who right out of the gate is being so separated from society, who is having his worldview shattered so early in life that he is kind of, even just being in school here, is separating himself from the other students, like viewing the teachers as being corrupt, viewing the education system as being corrupt. it's showing that even as a child, this character is already so politically conscious. This child is already having his worldview shattered and is already trying to fight to make a better world around him, and that wall that's being built between him and society is growing already. I'm guessing the concept of this album is going to be following this character through life. I'm assuming that's what there's going to be. It's clear to me at this point we're still a kid, we're in school, the teacher's shouting at him and shit. And I'm guessing as we progress, we're going to get to a point where our character is like just constantly growing, and we're going to see different stages of his fight throughout different points of his life. And I think that that's a really interesting way of tackling this concept. I think that just having a character that all throughout his life is fighting the same fight just in different contexts, it makes for a very gripping concept to follow along with, because we're seeing the entire journey of someone's life, I suppose. Again, that's just me assuming that that's the direction it's going to go. But yeah, up to this point, the sound of the shit is fantastic as well. Got a lot of nice spacey tracks, got some fun disco influence on Another Brick in the Wall too. The riffing is absolutely fantastic. The use of effects here has aged absolutely beautifully. Jesus, I can't speak. Yeah, this album is pretty great so far. Undeniably, this is living up to my expectations. We're going to continue with Mother. What's going on with the fucking... There we go.
Do you think they'll drop the bomb? Mother, do you think they'll like this song? Mother, do you think they'll try to break my balls? Mother, should
Exactly.
I run for president? Mother, should I trust the government?
I could absolutely see that, yeah. It seems more like this kid, like the only person he has is his mother. So he kind of has to ask her for all of this advice. She's like the only person he can really turn to.
Is it just a waste of time? Hush now, baby, baby, don't you cry. Mama's gonna make all of your nightmares come true.
Huh?
Mama's gonna put all of her fears into you. Mama's gonna keep you right here under her wing. She won't let you fly.
Okay, the overprotectiveness. Putting all the fear into him, yeah.
Mama's gonna keep baby cozy and warm. Ooh, babe. Babe, of course Mama's gonna help build the wall.
Oh, okay, so the societal wall is something that's been instilled into the kid by the mother. I see.
Mother, do you think she's good enough? For me? Mother, do you think she's dangerous?
Who is she?
To me?
Oh, it's just about someone he has a crush on. Okay.
Mother, will she tear your little boy apart?
He feels a need for validation from both his mother and the people around him. I see. The mother's realizing that he's been kind of separating himself and then tells him that, yeah. No, he will not.
Mama's gonna check out all your girlfriends for you. Mama won't let anyone dirty get through.
Exactly, unrealistic. Every kid would be too embarrassed about that shit.
Mama will always find out where you've been. Mama's gonna keep baby healthy and clean. Ooh, baby.
Didn't even notice that we transitioned into 6/8. Earlier points on the track were in 4/4.
Ooh, baby.
Shifting time signatures gives the song kind of like a weightlessness that I really like. It's a fantastic acoustic piece. Such a great way of establishing such an important piece of context here. Yeah, Mother is absolutely fucking fantastic. A great way to establish probably the most important piece of context we've gotten so far. Like like we're getting the reason why this kid thinks the way he does here. We're getting the place that all of these values are instilled in him from, and it's from his overprotective mother, kind of building that wall around him and around her. This feels like the most important track up to this point. And the fact that it's the longest as well, it's like 5.5 minutes. I really appreciate this track's placement. It definitely like makes this feel like such an imperative point to the story here. And I think it's fascinating the multiple different like versions of the wall that we've gotten. We've gotten the kid's wall that he builds around himself to stop him from interacting with society. We've got the wall that his mother is building around him to keep him safe from potential dangers. And then we've got the bricks being placed in the wall of society and workers. And we're getting like a bunch of different variations of what the wall could be. And I really like that they're attacking this concept from a whole bunch of different angles up to this point. And this track definitely has the most interesting, in my opinion. I would give this... No scores. No scores. I am still writing down my scores. I'm just not saying them out loud, by the way. I'm still writing down scores. I'm just not saying them. Yeah, this track is pretty fucking incredible. Goodbye, Blue Sky. The fucking ads aren't meant to be... Oh, for God's sake. Ads aren't meant to be on this, my bad. That's what I'm saying, exactly.
Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? Did you ever wonder why we had to run for shelter when the promise of a brave new world unfurled beneath the clear blue sky?
Yeah, the warmth you get from this acoustic guitar riff being matched with just how... I don't know, with just how... I don't know how to describe... The vocals just feel so weary.
Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? The flames are all long gone.
But this acoustic guitar riff is so warm, and it's being paired with these very menacing synths, this very weary vocal performance. I think that... it's matching the tones beautifully. Yeah, the synths sound fucking amazing. Excellent juxtaposition on this track. A great moment of our child being at first enamored by all the planes up in the sky, and then his very trauma-based response to being a child during World War II, which fucking obviously, yeah. Goodbye Blue Sky is another great track, obviously. Incredible world-building track, yeah, absolutely. Okay, immediately this feels like we're sort of going back into more societal-based stuff. There's something that feels very industrial and mechanical about this.
What shall we use to fill the empty spaces where we used to talk? How shall I fill the final places? How should I complete the wall?
Interesting.
I'm just a newborn,
Okay.
stranger in this town. Where are all the good times? Who's gonna show this stranger around?
Funky time indeed. Oh, those keys are absolutely fucking beautiful. Those keys sound amazing. Yeah, it seems so rank. Feels like it's like parodying that kind of lifestyle. Especially this being in context of being this kid that's so politically aware, growing up into just a standard rock star, getting lost in drugs and shit. This story is fucking amazing. I'm so like invested in this concept, which rarely actually happens with a concept album. Boo. Motley Floyd, exactly. The soloing's fucking incredible. It feels like the band haven't sacrificed any like musical prowess for the sake of the concept here. It feels like both are being treated as equally important. The instrumentals are still so lively. They feel just as fleshed out as any song on like Dark Side of the Moon. And I'd say the concept here is more gripping than Dark Side of the Moon. Even if I don't think maybe the songs are quite as good, I think this concept is far more gripping than Dark Side of the Moon's. Or even like Animals, or Wish You Were Here, to be honest. I'd say conceptually this is the most enticing Pink Floyd album so far. The fuck just happened with my camera?
Calling, are we reaching? He keeps hanging up. And it's a man answering.
Okay, Young Lust is absolutely fascinating point to reach on this album. That track sees Pink going against all of the values he was instilled with growing up. He has turned into this rock star. He's living this lavish lifestyle. Well, lavish lifestyle, you know, drugs, women everywhere, kind of disregarding all of the shit that he was brought up to believe when he was younger. And I guess we're going to start to see the turn back into it now that he is a little older. Empty Spaces is such a strange transition point into adult life. If, like, the entire first half of this first disc here was him as a kid, and then just like that, we switch into him being an adult, being, you know, famous, a rock star, abandoning all of the shit he believed as a kid. It's interesting that we took such a drastic turn so fast. I will say maybe it comes a bit quick. It feels a bit like a drastic turning point, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the transition into an adult, a little bit more of what brought us to the point of him kind of disregarding all of the shit he was brought up to believe and falling into drugs and stuff. I think more of the transition would have been nice, but I don't know. I feel like it's an interesting turn to take, having him have this complete character change. I would give this no score. I keep going to give the song scores. We're not saying scores out loud. One of my turns up next.
Oh my god, what a fabulous room! Are all these your guitars?
I'm sorry, sir. But I didn't mean to startle you.
This place is bigger than our apartment.
Let me know when you're entering a room. Yes, sir.
Can I get a drink of water?
I was wondering
You
about
want
this.
some?
It's BoJack Horseman before BoJack Horseman, exactly. It's weird. This is an entirely, like, album experience of an album, you know? I feel like there's not been a single song besides Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 that I would listen to casually. But it's such a great experience of an album. It's weird. I feel like this is going to get no replay value out of me, but this is such a great experience on its own.
And night after night, we pretend it's all right. But I have grown older, and you have grown colder, and nothing is very much fun anymore. And I can feel one of my toes coming home. I feel cold as a razor blade, tight as a tourniquet, dry as a funeral drum. Run to the bedroom and the suitcase on the left, you'll find my favorite ex.
I love the switch up. I'm not crazy on this switch up. Is it mania? Definitely feels like a manic point for the character here. This is cool. So having all of like the trauma kind of seeping back in here with these sound effects. sounds of him destroying his room. Yeah. And it feels like that's the trauma seeping back in, and all of the shit he believed as a kid kind of reinstating itself into his brain.
Do you think it's time I stopped? Why?
Feels like him realizing the bullshit reality that he's let himself fall into, and kind of letting out his rage. We're just letting himself fall back into that. One of My Turns is a great point on the album, but as a song, I don't think it works the best. I don't know. It's weird. A great point for the concept, but the track itself is, I don't know, a little unbalanced. I'm a little torn.
Don't leave me now. Don't say it's the end of the road. Remember the flowers I sent. I need you, babe.
I want to see who he's talking to in this one.
Put through the shredder in front of my friends. Oh, babe. Don't leave me now.
Oh, it's his wife. Okay.
How could you go?
Singing is awful, you know, it's for the concept, but come on. I don't know. I've never really liked Roger Waters as a vocalist as much as David Gilmour. I feel like, I don't know. David Gilmour's vocals are always just stronger for me. This song feels like the first unnecessary moment. I don't really understand why this is here.
How can you treat me this way?
I understand that we're meant to be at a point of like disillusionment with his lifestyle, and he's kind of realizing that things around him aren't quite what they seemed, and I guess he's now realizing that about his wife. But I don't really understand the need for a track of this nature at this point. Great switch up. I mean, instrumentally speaking, I think the song itself has been very, very dry up until this switch up. You know, this switch up's fantastic. Okay. This is the first song that I feel... Whoa. Hell of a transition. We're going to pause and talk before we get to these final two songs of the first half. That song didn't feel very necessary to me. I understand that we've reached a point of disillusionment. We've reached a point of this character realizing all of the stuff around him is fake. But I really... I feel like that track wasn't needed, necessarily. We kind of got all the context of the disillusionment on One of My Turns. And I think that Don't Leave Me Now is very much a filler cut. It feels like we just added in another thing simply for the sake of... I don't know. I don't actually know why it's in there. It doesn't really make too much sense to me. We didn't really need the context of this character having a wife. It kind of just feels like we've added another detail, gotten rid of that detail, when we could have just had One of My Turns be the full snapping point, and then we move into Another Brick in the Wall Part 3, which I think that the fact that we're going into Another Brick in the Wall Part 3 is great for the concept. Yeah, Don't Leave Me Now, despite the fact that I think it has a pretty fantastic finale, a great climax that I feel like really turns up the energy, kind of like a blood-pumping way to finish off the track, I really don't feel like that was a needed piece of the puzzle. Yeah, I don't know. The song itself was a little uninteresting, and it doesn't really push the concept forward too much, in my opinion. Another Brick in the Wall Part 3.
This will be what you'd like to know.
I don't need no arms around me. And I don't need no drugs to calm me. I have seen the writing on the wall.
Exactly.
Think I need anything at all. Don't think I need anything at all.
Yeah, he's completely lost his shit. He's just gone manic now.
All it was, all just bricks in the wall.
I see.
All it was, just bricks in the wall.
Yeah, we've gone into a full snap there. The last song on this side is him placing the final brick and him talking to the rest of the world. Yeah. So maybe I was wrong about what the concept was going to be. Maybe the first half is building up the wall and the second half is going to be tearing down the wall.
I'm leaving you today. Goodbye, goodbye.
Pink Floyd did a decent bit of soundtrack work, didn't they? If I'm not mistaken, I think they did a good bit of movie soundtracks.
Goodbye, all you people. There's nothing you can say to make me change my mind. Goodbye.
Yeah, bass all the way on the left. Okay. That was the first half of the album. Okay, so the first half here seems to be us building the wall. It's him throughout his life, meeting different people, kind of having his worldview constantly being altered by his father passing, and then school, and then growing up and abandoning his beliefs as a child, becoming famous, falling into a life of drugs, and then eventually, you know, becoming even disillusioned to that, and now feeling like he is putting the final pieces to fully wall himself off from everything else. He feels completely isolated, he feels completely alone, and it's kind of due to his own doing, even if it is influenced by the way he was raised, even if it was influenced by plenty of events in his life. I'm guessing the second half here is going to be him tearing that wall down. That's what I think we're going to be doing here, especially remembering a track like Comfortably Numb. That feels like a point of letting the emotions actually seep through. So based on the context clues that I've gotten, I've heard Hey You as well. based on the context clues that I have, I'm assuming that's the direction we're going to take this. I guess just stopping here to say what my overall feelings on the first half of this album would be, it would be like a high 8 to a 9. I think that the first half of this album is pretty fantastic, conceptually incredibly gripping. I think that despite the minor gripes that I have about the songs themselves not being the strongest, particularly a track like Don't Leave Me Now, I think that the first half of this album conceptually is fucking fantastic, and it does such a great job at keeping me engaged, keeping me locked in, and just all in all being a very satisfying experience to follow along with. Again, even if I do think that sonically speaking, this is a far cry from the band's strongest. We will continue. Hey You.
Hey you, out there in the cold, getting lonely, getting old, can you feel me? Hey you.
I'm not familiar with that. I'd be open to checking that out at some point. These keys sound fucking amazing.
Out there on your own, sitting naked by the phone, would you touch me? Hey you, with your ear against the wall, waiting for someone to call out, would you touch me? Hey you, would you help me to carry the stone? Open your heart, I'm coming home.
That's some peak glaze right there. Man, this is like a Dark Side of the Moon type track. Bringing back another brick in the wall melody, yeah. But instrumentally, it's very reminiscent of Dark Side and just how expansive this instrumental is. How well these keys are pairing with the guitar tones here. The acoustics being added into the mix as well. Feels a little Animals. I wouldn't say this is the first one. I feel like there's been a couple of instrumental moments that have been great so far. I think Another Brick in the Wall is great. Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. And Mother as well. Yeah, immediately after finishing his wall, Pink begins to wonder, too little too late, whether he's made the right decision in completely isolating himself from the world. The second half is going to be him tearing the wall down. I'm a genius. Can read this album like the back of my fucking hand. Wait, what? No, that's not how this thing goes. Read this album like a book. What the fuck am I talking about? Never mind. Don't listen to me. Yeah, this is the first song where I feel like they've let the instruments take over. I would agree with that. Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Roger Waters and David Gilmour are both giving it their all on this track. Great transition. I'm actually gonna. This is the first time I'm gonna say a score on this album. That song's a 10. This feels like the same quality as like the best songs on Dark Side of the Moon. The instrumental is fucking immaculate. These absolutely incredible layers of synths pairing beautifully with the guitars. The soloing across this thing is fucking nuts. I think the acoustic elements add like a nice kind of shaky texture to this song as well. This whole thing is just so grim and so bleak while still having such a saturated instrumental palette. And I think the band's ability to do that and kind of have those not really clash and have it actually blend really well is nothing short of incredibly impressive. Yeah, that's easily the best song on the entire album, in my opinion. Some good shit right there. Great way to kick off the second half. Is there anyone out there? Sorry, is there anybody out there, specifically?
Is it unsafe to travel at night?
It's safe to stay here. Your father's gonna pick up our trail for us.
And look around.
That's right. Okay, time to go. Thank you for everything.
Is there anybody out there?
Now it's mid until comfortably numb.
Is there anybody out there?
I feel like I've heard this song referenced somewhere. Just that, is there anybody out there? I've heard that reference somewhere. I can't put my finger on where.
Is there anybody out there?
It's uncomfortably numb, is it?
Is there anybody out there?
Why can't I say it exactly? Oh my god. That acoustic guitar is fucking beautiful. Such a nice kind of dusty wooden texture to add to this track here after the obviously very sustained kind of cloudy nature of the more high-pitched noises throughout the first half. Yeah. Song feels very wooden to me when the acoustic guitar comes in. Synths are lovely as well. I disagree with the sentiment that the album gets mid up until comfortably numb. I think that Is There Anybody Out There is fucking fantastic. Let me look actually at what the context of this song means here, because I didn't actually take a look. In questioning whether anybody's out there, Pink begins to realize the expansiveness of his wall and the consequence. Yeah, okay. So it is exactly what I thought it was. Okay. I keep checking Genius just in case there's some deeper meaning to these songs, but it usually just is what I think it is. The album is surprisingly very easy to follow along with. The story is kind of just what it is at face value most of the time, and I appreciate that. I like that I don't have to do too much digging here to follow along.
Got a little black book with my poems in.
Like, most of the time I just need to take the lyrics literally, and it's exactly what they mean, you know?
When I'm a good dog, they sometimes throw me a bone. I got elastic bands keeping my shoes on.
You considered this the last Pink Floyd album? Was this the last album that Roger Waters worked on? Or was that the next album?
10 channels of shit on the TV to choose from. I got electric light.
13
I
channels,
got
exact.
second sight.
Last cut was,
Got
okay.
amazing
That final cut, sorry, not last cut, Jesus.
powers of observation. That is how I know.
They were an advanced society in the 70s. In this version of the 70s, at least.
There'll be nobody home. I got the obligatory Hendrix pen and the inevitable pinhole bud.
And it meant to be like 1944. I got no fucking idea.
Down the front of my favorite
I mean, he's a bit older now, and his father died at the end of World War II, so I'm guessing we're in the 60s. We're in like the 60s or the 70s, I'm guessing.
stains on my fingers. I got a silver spoon on a chain. Got a grand piano to prop up my mortal remains. I got wild staring eyes, and I got a strong urge to fly. But I got
Yeah, he mentions Hendrix. Yeah, that's a good point.
Fly to.
Fly to, 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 fly to.
Oh, no, wait, did we get taken down? Start the whole album over, yeah? The whole, what, like hour of the album we've listened to up to this point? Exactly. So run it back. Anyway, let's continue.
Pick up the phone. There's still nobody home. I got a pair of Go Hills boots, and I got fading roots.
Song gets a 0 because Roger blocked the stream. Exactly.
Does anybody here remember Vera Lynn? Remember how she said that we would meet again some sunny day? Vera, Vera.
Yeah, so this is kind of him wanting to return to his childhood, back before he created all this distance between other people.
Does anybody else in here feel the way I do?
So we're really spending the first portion of the second half lamenting the wall. Yeah. Now for the Roger Waters experience. Like, I get we're meant to be like calling to the war here.
Are you feeling okay?
I don't know. I'm a little confused why this track is landing here. I know I'm gonna let it play into comfortably now, but I don't understand why this song is here. I don't know. It seems like an awkward place to put that track, but still, it's fine.
Hello, is there anybody in there? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? Come on now. I hear you're feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain, get you on your feet again. Relax. I need some information first.
This is gonna get me shit in the comments. I've always fucking hated the vocals on this song. Look, Roger Waters has been doing some silly stuff with his voice throughout this, but he goes so ridiculous here on this song. He goes so goofy that in the verses he kind of completely kills the tone of the track, even if I think this instrumental is maybe one of the best on any Pink Floyd song. This song's great, but Roger Waters fucking sucks on this song, I can't lie.
Basic facts.
His voice is terrible.
Hurts.
There is no pain, you are receding. A distant ship, smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through
As the
in
camera's, I don't know.
waves.
It's just how the camera's deciding to be today.
But I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like two balloons. Now I've got that feeling once again. I can't explain. You will not
Why is the camera?
understand. This is not how I am.
There we go. I think the chorus could have been better. I think the chorus is amazing. The song has two incredible guitar solos as well. My mic is so much quieter than the music. It looks like it's about the same on my OBS. Let me sit in a bit closer. Yeah, two absolutely iconic solos on this track.
Okay. Just a little pinprick. There'll be no more. But you may feel a little sick.
This really is like David Gilmour's song, dude. I know Roger Waters is the biggest presence here, and this is a very Roger Waters centric album, but this song really feels like David Gilmour finally getting to seriously shine. The solos, the gorgeous chorus. It feels like we're finally getting, finally letting David Gilmour really shine. Which again, while I like Roger Waters, I think David Gilmour is easily the stronger of the two. What was the first Floyd song I heard? I think Money. Actually, probably Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 is huge.
I
Yeah, it seemed that way. It seemed to be a little bit like semi-biographical.
Have become comfortably numb.
Here comes the second guitar solo. Did he talk about that in the Rick Beato interview that he did? I remember seeing him talk about that somewhere. I think it was the Rick Beato interview he did. This is the moment Pink became Heisenberg. When I listen to the next few tracks, remember Roger isn't actually racist. That's promising. Is another good point to pause, I feel. Yeah, not even a transition, huh? Comfortably Numb is very much a big transition point. Comfortably Numb is a great track that I feel like is bogged down by Roger Waters. I just don't like Roger Waters on this song at all. Again, it never used to be a problem for me, but in like more recently, whenever I've returned to this track, and especially in album context, knowing that he's kind of been doing the goofy thing, he hams it up too much here. He kind of kills the tone on the verses a little bit, and I feel like the immense sadness created by this song, the feeling of pure despair in the verses that is meant to be countered by how angelic the chorus is. It kind of feels like Roger Waters is so goofy that all of the darker elements of this track just kind of don't really come through for me anymore. Again, it wasn't that big a problem when I was first listening to the song, and I was just so enamored by the instrumental. But now that I've heard this song so many times, I don't know. I just find the verses to be a little. But the chorus is fucking amazing. The solos sound fantastic, and I think that basically every other aspect of this song is perfect. It's just bogged down by that one element for me. I'll score this song. We'll say a score for this song because it's like it's Comfortably Numb. I might as well. I would give this track a high 8 to a flat 9. I'm not sure which of the two specifically which of the two I'll give it. I'm saying high 8 for now, but it could maybe be a flat 9. The show must go on. Song is where the drugs start taking over. Yeah, Bruce Johnson doing backing vocals here.
There must be some mistake. I didn't mean to let them take away my soul. Am I too old? Is it too late?
does sound very 60s, yeah.
Where's the feeling gone?
With different drugs warring within his body, the thoughts of war and childhood reeling within his head, and his bricks dragging him further into mental decay, Pink wonders whether he can perform at his concert as expected before deciding that the show must go on. He's pushing through the show anyway. Yeah, I feel like After Comfortably Numb feels like a, you know, just completely drugging himself up into a state of pure inebriation, having a song about just forcing himself to push through anyway. It's a nice follow-up to that. This is my life story. Yeah. Really hamming up the theatrics on this song immediately. Going back into 6/8 as well. I think this album's great so far. Not my favorite Floyd, but I think this album is living up to its reputation. Absolutely.
So ya thought ya might like to go to the show to feel the warm thrill of confusion and space cadet glow. I got some bad news for you, sunshine. Pink isn't well. He stayed back at the hotel and played Santa along as a surrogate band. We're gonna find out where you fans really stand. Are there any queers in the theater tonight? Get 'em up against the wall. Now there's one in the spotlight. He don't look right to me. Get him up against the wall.
During the racist segment. Unfortunate. Wow. As I'm waiting for the day. Beach Boys song. I don't remember that song at all, I can't lie. On Pet Sounds. I've not really listened to Pet Sounds in a while. I don't really remember that track. I gotta come back to Pet Sounds soon. Can I restart for the video? No. There's nothing missing. Literally, it happened and I paused immediately. In the Flesh. kind of a crazy statement to throw in there. So what is it's like a replacement band come in while Pink has completely like lost his mind with these drugs, and they've come and they're kind of the antithesis of his values, of his of the things that he's trying to promote, and they're becoming these fascist dictators over this crowd, I suppose. Again, kind of creating another wall, a societal wall between any gay, black people, Jewish people in the crowd, and then anyone else, kind of putting them up against the wall. Another wall that's being created here, which is definitely interesting. Yeah, more than a disc later, the plot arrives at the concert turned into a rally that opens the wall to the point that in the flesh is now spelled without the question mark. Pink spirals into insanity, imagining himself... Oh, so this is... Oh, imagining himself performing a concert as a fascist dictator demanding ultimate allegiance of his audience. Oh, so that was just in his head. Okay, I completely misinterpreted that. My bad. I thought that was like someone else like trying to take his place as a fascist dictator. But no, it's literally him imagining himself doing that. I see. All in his mind, exactly. Exactly, we all think that sometimes. So one, he's immediately funky as fuck, yeah. Yeah. Then I gotta pack it in and call it quits. Nah, I'm joking. It won't. This video won't. Okay, so this is just like a follow-up to that concert. We're still kind of in this mental prison of him imagining himself turning into this fascist dictator. That's interesting. I do wonder what the band is trying to say with that. I see. I was not familiar with that, no. That is terrible. It's fucking terrible. Percussion is fucking amazing. I do wish we got more tracks like this throughout the album where the instrumentals get their moment to shine. It's been almost entirely concept up to this point, and lots of the tracks have felt maybe a little instrumentally sparse. moments like these where the instrumental gets to shine. I just wish they were a little more present, you know? I wish we got more of them. Percussion sounds great. These guitar effects are fantastic. Feel very 80s, which, you know, this album came out right at the tail end of the 70s. It feels like a lot of the guitars of the 80s would take inspiration from this. I don't know how necessary Run Like Hell was. We're getting another moment of him being in like his mental prison. I don't know. It doesn't feel like the most necessary. I don't know. There's been a couple tracks in here that have felt like dragging the story a little bit. And I think Run Like Hell is one of them. Even if I think the instrumental is great. What, The Wall? The Wall movie? No. Yeah. It feels specifically like he's seeing himself as a Hitler-like figure here. Like it feels like he's exploring the irony. That it's someone like Hitler that would get his father killed, and now he is having these flashes in his mind and realizing the irony that he's turning into that exact thing that kind of kicked off this entire journey of his life. Yeah, he's turning into the thing he hates. Okay, so my second interpretation about the concept was wrong as well. I assumed he was going to be building up the wall in the first half and then tearing it down in the second half. But it's more like he built up the wall in the first half, attempted to tear it down, but now he's unable to, and he's trapped in this place where he becomes so self-centered that he almost becomes like a complete like monster, the exact thing that he has strived to fight against becoming his entire life. Song is fucking incredible, dude. One of the strongest moments on the album, in my opinion.
I wanna go home, take off this uniform and leave the show. But I'm waiting in this cell because I have to know.
Waiting in this cell.
Have I been guilty all this time?
Yeah, I'm guessing just within his own wall is is his cell. The trial. Oh. Okay. The trial.
Good morning, worm, your honor. The crown will plainly show the prisoner who now stands before you was caught red-handed showing feelings of an almost human nature. This will not do. Call the schoolmaster. I always said it come to no good, didn't me, and your honor. If they'd let me have my way, I could've played it to sheep. But our hearts were tied, the bleeding hearts and artists way I'm going. We must have let me hammer him today.
Crazy toys in the attic. I am crazy.
I am very confused.
Truly gone fishing.
They must have taken my marbles away. You little shit, you're in it now. I hope they throw away the key. You should have talked to me more often than you did, but no, you had to go your own way. Have you broken any
Too low
laws
IQ
of
to
me?
grasp this.
Just 5 minutes, worm.
You know, under my humbug stream, someone said that, like, what was it? I don't have the comprehension to grasp Alex Turner as a writer or whatever. They were like, I'm an English teacher. You don't have the comprehension skills for Alex Turner. And I'm like, what?
Crazy over the rainbow. I am crazy. Bars in the window.
There must have been a door there in the wall when I
I think my brother's here and he wants to be let in. I may need to pause this song. Yep, my brother's here. Chat. I need to pause this song halfway through because my brother, instead of taking a key, would rather make me let him in. I will be right back. The sense of timing between my mum and my brother to always need to be let into my house because they don't bring keys at the final moment of an album is uncanny. Every time. Every time.
Incontrovertible, there's no need for the jury to retire. In all my years of judging, I have never heard before of someone more deserving of the full penalty of law. The way you made them suffer,
The concept of a key is foreign to them.
brother, fills me with the urge to defecate. Since, my friend, you have revealed your deepest fear, I sentence you to be exposed before your peers. Tear down the wall.
As a point in the concept, this is pretty great. yeah, the desperate plea to explain himself, but still getting the full punishment of his actions. I think that it's a devastating point in the concept, but the theatrics of this track are just a bit much for me. I feel like... Damn. Been blowing the wall up, Jesus. Yeah, I think the vocals in particular, a bit much. We're here, the final song, Outside the Wall. Oh, turn on the loop.
All alone or in twos, the ones who really love you walk up and down outside the wall. Some hand in hand, and some gathered together in bands. The bleeding hearts and the artists make their stand. And when they've given you their all, some stagger and fall. After all, it's not easy. Banging your heart against some mad bugger's wall.
It's not a perfect loop, but it does in fact loop. Isn't this where we came in? Okay. Interesting way to close this, kind of with the cyclical nature of societal walls being built up and then teared down and built up and teared down over and over again. Okay, the concept definitely ends on a strong note. I think that entire final track does a fantastic job at wrapping this up, kind of showing that, you know, no matter what, there will always be people who will tear down these societal walls. There will always be people who will be there to get rid of them and to try and help bring people together, even if these walls keep getting built up again and again and again. And the cyclical nature that the album decides to highlight here, I think, it makes sense. I think it's a genuinely pretty fantastic way to close off this concept. Okay, that was The Wall. Holy shit, what an album. What an album. This... Jesus Christ, this is such a gargantuan pill to swallow. This album is huge. Holy shit, what a journey. I think that this album is genuinely great. It lives up to the hype, in my opinion. I think that the concept here is fucking fantastic. I think that the storytelling is so gripping, even on the moments that I don't feel like are all that important, which there are a handful of filler points throughout this album, but I feel like it stays consistently... genuinely so fascinating in terms of the way the story is being told. It stays so engaging in terms of the events of the story and seeing how interestingly it unfolds and the twists and the turns that it takes. I think that the writing here is some of the best we've gotten on any Pink Floyd album easily. I will say that musically it definitely is not my favorite of their albums. I think that the individual tracks themselves outside of 4 songs, which are Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, Mother, Hey You, and Comfortably Numb, I think that the songs themselves are not the strongest. I think that instrumentally a lot of them can be a little sparse. I think that performance-wise some of the tracks can come across as maybe a little one note, but I think that the concept does more than enough to kind of make up for that, because I'm never going to listen to any of the songs outside of the 4 I just mentioned on their own. I will only ever be returning to them in context of the album, and the only time I would come back to the context of the album would be to redigest this story. as opposed to like listen to it for musical enjoyment. So I guess I can't complain about it too much, because this really is like an album experience album. There is almost nothing on here that I think is meant for casual listening. I think this entire thing is meant to be digested as a whole piece, and I think the whole piece is fucking fantastic. I think that it flows beautifully. I think that the story, again, is so well written, so concise, so adventurous as well. So many interesting themes about society, politics, war, mental health, identity, about community. It explores so many themes and explores them to such a detailed and such an open-minded degree, where it's able to have a character that is so understandable, but also goes through so many like horrible twists and turns, turning into a drug addict as he becomes famous, turning almost into a fascist dictator as he kind of reaches a point of complete mental collapse. I find this to be easily the band's most ambitious work. I find this to be an absolutely fascinating story. I find this to be just a genuinely awe-inspiring listen, even if, again, I wouldn't see myself coming back to this. It's definitely not my favorite Floyd. It definitely is not an album that I'm going to see myself coming back to much, if at all. But I will say, as a one-time listening experience, I think this was fucking incredible. I really do think this was a genuinely like mesmerizing listen, and I will say while I don't think it's the band's strongest, I'll say it's one of the band's strongest. Some great shit. I'm gonna run the numbers, and I'm gonna tell you what my overall score for this album is. Sounds about right. I am feeling an 8.6 out of 10 on this album, ladies and gentlemen. An 8.6. That's an adjusted score. The calculated score is an 83, and adjusted for the experience of the album, I think it's about a solid 8. It's a great concept. I think that as a whole piece, it's pretty undeniably fantastic. But musically speaking, the album isn't the most interesting. You know, I do kind of wish that there were more instrumental moments that shined here, but I don't know. I guess as a whole, I can't really complain about this too much. I do think this is a genuinely great album, just not my favorite from Floyd. And I will say, of the golden era of Pink Floyd, this is definitely my least favorite. I absolutely prefer Dark Side of the Moon. I absolutely prefer Wish You Were Here and Animals, but I don't know. I can see why this will be someone's favorite. This is definitely the band's most ambitious work, and it absolutely pays off in that regard. No, probably not. I think the rest of the Floyd albums I am going to do just on my own, and then do a tier list video for them. Is it better than metal? Ooh, it's a good question, because there's more of it. I don't know. I don't come back to metal in the same way that I come back to like Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here and Animals. I don't know. It's about on par with metal for me. It's around the same. I think metal might slightly edge it out over this, because I think metal has more musical like intrigue to me than this album does. And I do tend to care a little bit more about musical elements than lyrical elements. So I'd say metal slightly squeaks it out for me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this album down below, how it compares to other Pink Floyd albums for you. You can check out my other Pink Floyd reactions somewhere in a playlist around here. Definitely check those out if you haven't. We got Dark Side of the Moon, Animals, Wish You Were Here, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and Metal. So yeah, definitely check those out if you haven't. Like and sub as well if you haven't. We're on our way to 4K. Links in the description to my Discord, my album of the year, my Twitter, and my other channels. Check those out if you haven't. And I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye bye.